Oh yeah, I like it like that.
So excited to welcome you back to Shutter Snacks. This is our second season, first episode. This is a show all about weddings from the photographer's point of view, because we're photographers.
We are.
Today's episode is going to just be one tiny portion of most weddings, except for elopements generally. And it is a family portrait time.
A lot of times it's just the parents that want these. The couple really, they're more interested in moments as they unfold. But at the end of the day, they want these. They order these. They want these for their wall, their desk at work. Sometimes that's all they want are those family
Really?
photos or the couple photos looking at the camera.
That's true. They really want those traditional couple photos looking at the camera, straight body, full on, all the way down to the ground, all the way, like just.
Yeah. To begin with, we give you a list, a checkoff list, so we know exactly who we're photographing for family. We know we're doing the bride and groom and the wedding party later, but for family, and usually it's just the immediate family. And the first thing we ask you to do is designate someone to gather all of those people, whether it's your bride's, your maid of honor, your best man. We want all those people there at the time we allotted and at the place we decided to do them. So yeah, make sure they're prompt and they know exactly what time to start.
All right, Kim, I'm just so excited to talk to you about this part of the day. I really like it. I liked it right from the get-go when I started doing wedding photography with you because it reminded me of when I was a waitress. I realized I would much rather serve a bigger party of 6 or 8 or 10 or even 12 people by myself than have six two tops for 12 people. It just is so much more work. You have to say everything again. And
Mhm.
it's just so much easier. I really came to love, I said, give me all the big parties because a lot of people were intimidated to deal with the bigger groups because it's a lot of,
Lexi's definitely not intimidated by anything. Go on.
especially not give me a big group to boss around. Oh, I can do that. Do you have an unruly family that has a lot of personality difficulties and interpersonal struggles? Does your family, are they very wealthy and very much used to
Money.
being at the head of the boardroom? Perfect. I love to tell them what to do, how to stand, and how to make their faces look.
She can command an audience.
It is
Cool.
my favorite thing to do. Well, not my favorite, but I really like it.
I mean, what do you do before the wedding to get bride and groom prepared for the family? You know, is there?
Well, first of all, I send them a link to the show. But I do a lot of work with my couples on the front end to help them and help me understand what their priorities are, even because first, I don't know, a lot of couples, family portraits are the most important part of the day, and they want to ensure that they have them and they have large families or even small families, whatever, they have their family, and that's the most important part to them. So
Mhm.
that's one of the questions I ask.
That's true. Sometimes they care about that more than they do couple photos.
Yeah. So when I talk to them, I tell them, we're going to do pie in the sky as if time and money were no object in order to figure out where your priorities really are, because time and money are actually objects. And once you talk about them without boundaries, you can really understand where your heart is. You do not want your family to be going off to cocktail hour or to not be where they need to be because time is of the essence. Time is everyone's most valuable resource, and it is on wedding day the most valuable thing.
We don't want those caterers coming out and making us hurry up. We don't.
Plus, I get
Caterers.
really jealous when the caterers bring out the most delicious, beautiful platters of hors d'oeuvres and champagne for you. Oh, I just want it so bad. I'm so hungry by that point.
that brings up a good point. I really don't like that. I don't like it when they come out with drinks and food because it just stops what I'm doing. I know that they're trying to cater to the couple and the families, and I need to bring them some, but I don't know. That's where the struggle comes in. We're both trying to get our job done right. And what they're doing is cutting, obviously they're all going to go towards the food. I really don't like that. I do get it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it's definitely creates some issues that, again, I try to ameliorate as much as possible on the front end. A lot of my couples have already talked to the caterer, and that is their plan, and that is what they want to do. And if that's what they want to do,
but
that's fine.
What I need to do is, okay, if you've planned that, we're doing family photos, but we're taking a break, and that's going to take up this much time.
Right.
Do you really want to take that break? But anyway,
exactly.
That's just something.
Communication is
probably
key.
say, and a lot of times they don't think of any of this stuff.
Of course they don't.
Yeah, but I get why they do that, but I don't like it. Anything that's going to distract us, give us our moment, but we love you, caterers. We love you, and we understand. But it'd be like us going in the middle of the dinner, them serving. Okay, stop serving. I'd like to do a few photos from the ceiling, looking down without the caterers around. Stop. That kind of.
That's hilarious. That is
true.
A good perspective.
Anyway, but it's tough.
There is a lot to talk about with planning, couples on the front end. Sometimes my couple's parents are still married and everyone's happy and they don't have very many siblings and there's no family complication, interpersonal problem. Mm-hmm. And those ones are the easiest ones of all. But sometimes there are problems. And so I like to actually talk to my couples before wedding day ever happens so that I kind of have some foresight into their family dynamics. And so even though, you and I have certain ways that we like to arrange boy, girl, and things that we think look good, I like to know who does not want to stand next to who, because I want everyone's faces to be as happy as possible for those images.
Yeah. And those people want the family photo, but they don't want it on their wall that way.
Absolutely not. Oh my gosh, what a heartbreaker, right?
Right. So the family dynamics are very, very important to figure out.
Yeah, let's look at some pictures and go from there. Oh, this was a pretty wedding that I shot, and this was actually, we were waiting for everyone to come outside so they could get on the bus and we could go to our actual family portrait and couple first look. Wait, no, they already did the couple first look destination. That's just so pretty, so really beautiful. Nice. And it's pretty cute. The baby's smiling. Oh my gosh. But this one little boy, he's looking over here. I don't know what he's looking at, but everyone else looks pretty ideal. I ask him to get excited and show me what excited looks like. And this is just the nieces and nephews. Ugh.
That's so cute. She's lifting the baby.
Look at how big that baby is compared to her and how effortlessly it looks like she's doing that. And the baby looks so cute. Baby in a bow tie and patent leather shoes. Yes, the colors in this wedding were so good.
I really like the background too. How, first of all, the bokeh. Is this what lens is this?
It's the 85.
Yeah. Is it wide open 1.4?
Mm-hmm. It is.
See, that's my favorite. And when you stand back, everything's more in focus. So I like that. It's beautiful. I think one of the biggest obstacles we run into when we're doing family photos is other people trying to take photos on their cell phone. And a lot of times we can't see them. They're behind us. And so grandma here is looking at her daughter or whoever's taking the photos. This would have been a really cute photo. The other two are looking at the camera. Which, a lot of times we don't want them to look at the camera, but for family photos we do, and grandma isn't. And this is what happens. And I know everybody means well. They just want to take a picture. They don't understand that they're sort of ruining our shots. And with big groups, a lot of times we can't see one or two people that are looking at the other people's cameras. Another one, I think over here I have.
And it just cuts into the time again because I have a feeling you got one where the three of them look delighted and are together and are happy, and that's a picture that they love. But all the times that you have to talk to grandma and redirect her attention, it just takes time out of the wedding day.
Same thing here. Someone's taking a photo off to camera right. It just, again, I don't think people realize.
Right. And even if it's just a group of three, but we know we have a lot of family that we're taking pictures of, it's a time crunch and it's just a balance.
We're going to do a whole episode on Uncle Bob. Good old Uncle Bob. We love Uncle Bob.
And everybody loves Uncle Bob.
He's always asking us about our camera and what lenses we're using. And Uncle Bob is great. Every wedding has an Uncle Bob. He's very enthusiastic, which is great. But
that should be another episode. We should say, and we have an episode. Oh, you're interested in knowing about my gear? I would love to talk to you about that, but I'm here working. So if you'd like to go to my show, Shutter Snacks, there's an episode for that. Here's a link.
I'm sure they won't go to it, but
I know, probably not.
Yeah. So I think that is probably the most crucial thing about this whole episode is Uncle Bob. So what I do when I'm in a situation like that is I put my camera down and I said, everybody look at Uncle Bob. He would really like a photo. But the couple then understands, okay, we don't really want that. We want the professional photographer to do it. So what they're trying to do is just kind of shoot while those people are looking at me. But that doesn't happen. They look at the other people with the cell phones. So,
well, we were all trained to look at the camera and say cheese, right? And so when your attention is split,
which camera do I look at? Which camera?
Yeah.
Our camera.
And most people aren't so famous that they have paparazzi following them around, and they've stopped worrying about that.
Right.
Including us.
When they are, not yet.
So there's always going to be a mixture of just posed and then the ones that I tell them to embody some sort of emotion, usually joy and hilariousness. Sometimes depending on their moods and how I'm feeling, I'll make them do other silly things. But look at how much dad loves daughter. Mm-hmm. He just really does.
They're all genuinely happy.
They are. And I just love the happiness in this one. I didn't even tell them to do anything, but they're a challenge to have everyone doing the same thing. So brother on the end is looking at me. And I don't know, I almost want a megaphone or something, because I think a lot of it is that they don't hear me, because with our lens that makes that beautiful bokeh effect in the background, we have to be pretty far away.
That is a good point.
So megaphone.
A lot of people would not use that lens for that very reason, but I do.
It's just the prettiest one. It is. You do have to be quite far away though. So I'm always like zooming with my feet, running in and saying like, this is what we're going to do next. And then running back. Mm-hmm. I get really sweaty.
I know. Well, it should be declared, wedding photography should be declared a sport.
I declare it a sport. Is that the type of declaration you meant?
What? Declared a sport. Oh,
I know.
Like curling is a sport.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know. I think wedding photography is going to be in the next Summer Olympics. Didn't you hear?
It should be.
It really should.
Okay. Well, anything else you need to say about this aspect of the day? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to a wedding. This is just one part, but it's an important part, really important part.
To some people, we'll ask you. You tell us. Is it
You
important
tell
to you?
Your parents, if your parents are paying, we better ask them though.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us for our first episode of season 2 Shutter Snacks. It has been such a delight to be here with you, Kim. I've missed this. me, me too.
I didn't stop talking. I didn't know what to say, but yeah, it's been a while. I feel like not that we learn when we do these episodes,
what?
but
Yes, we do. I learned so much.
I was just gonna say, but we go over them again, and it kind of refreshes our memory. It's not like we're learning, but it's coming to the forefront of our brains again because we're teaching this. So how are we learning and teaching at the same time?
Well, I'm constantly, not to brag, but I'm learning from myself all the time. And of course, I'm learning from you. And I think that our discussions, I think we come up with lots of things from different angles that we actually hadn't considered before. I'm learning all the time.
Yeah. I've been doing this 20 years. And I
Don't
and I
whisper, be proud.
I have a wealth of knowledge. I do know that, and I do know we take it for granted. So that's what we're here for. So hope you enjoyed today. We'll be back. Hey, you're supposed to do the outro.
I like it together.
Okay. All right. We'll see you next time.
See
What
you
are we gonna
next
talk about next
time.
time?
Like it like that.